Like a well-oiled Echo, Phrolova has some nice animations, but I'm here to teach you how to rotate her. There are multiple ways to do so, the standard way, and then there's the flashy way. Either scenario, we have a lot to talk about, so let's oil up Phrolova and play with these Echoes. Wait, I think I said that backwards. The standard Phrolova rotation is actually something that I recommend. Phrolova is not super quickswap friendly because of how her teammates are designed, but either way, we can make use of some great tactics before we go into the loop of destruction. I'll remind you when we get to that loop. This account's Phrolova and characters are criminally underleveled. Not all of the characters are level 90, a lot of them are actually just level 80, and their fortes are not fully maxed out. So you should get way more mileage when you do the same things that I'm doing. I did manage to get Phrolova to level 85 with some decent forte investment. Now, let's show off the standard Phrolova rotation. You want to rotate from Phrolova to Roccia to Cantarella, and then back to Phrolova. Meaning, you want to trigger their outro skills in that order. You can start with Cantarella, but I tend to just start with Phrolova in many cases. We always want to get the cadenza note at the beginning of the rotation. This ensures that her most powerful attack is used early, as she should rarely ever get to the last note during her maestro. If that made no sense, go ahead and check out the Phrolova guide right here so you can know the ins and outs of Phrolova and understand the rotation. All in all though, her notes dictates what Hecate will do. So cadenza notes are obtained first to ensure that those super hits get used early. A quick way to get 4 out of the 6 stacks needed for Phrolova is to start with basic attack 3, and then as soon as you gain one of those notes and the enhanced skill becomes available, before you even cast that skill, what you want to do is cast the Echo skill. Immediately upon landing with that Echo skill, you need to follow up with another Resonance skill, which will get you a 3rd stack, and then you want to end it out with either a basic attack or another Resonance skill. So all in all, it should go basic attack 3, Echo skill cast, Resonance skill, Resonance skill. Or you can obviously use a basic attack instead of the last Resonance skill, but spamming Resonance skill is a lot easier than swapping between the two. This will get you a total of 4 stacks very easily, so then you follow up with another basic attack combo to get the last 2. Following that, you're going to do the heavy attack animation and waste no time casting the Liberation directly after, and then swap to Roccia. Roccia should immediately cast her Liberation. You can maybe do a couple basic attacks and then cast a Liberation, but you'll eventually do a few basic attacks to actually fill up her gauge to about 1.5. Then, you'll use her Resonance skill into 3 hops, cast the Echo skill, and pop off to Cantarella. Very quick and easy, get in her damage and get off. Cantarella will now come in, and you'll want to cast your Liberation, then her Resonance skill, and then you want to pop into her Jellyfish form. Use her Resonance skill as soon as it comes up, do her Enhanced Resonance skill as soon as it comes up, then when you're actually out of her Forte gauge, you'll cast her Echo skill, and then you'll pop back to Phrolova. Now at this point, Phrolova is almost done with her rotation, but she should be about 4 seconds off from completing her last note, but it's perfectly fine to skip this. It's much more beneficial to end and start a new session rather than wasting those last 4 seconds of time. This does, however, give you leeway if you get hit or get caught in a big attack, so Phrolova can actually keep attacking. Once you're back to Phrolova, it's a bit different this time. At the start of the rotation, we could get 1 cadenza note. Now, we can get 2. So when you swap into Phrolova and use her finisher, she immediately gets ready to get another note, which is guaranteed to be a cadenza note. Then, Echo skill, Resonance skill, now you got your 3rd and 4th note, or rather, your 4th and 5th note. After that, you could do a few more basic attacks to get the 6th note, and then you're good to go to cast the 2nd enhanced heavy, and then back to the Liberation. Repeat this cycle, and bam! You've mastered Phrolova gameplay. Now, let's make things a little spicier, and talk about some things to make things much smoother. With some very easy quickswap techs, we can make this so much better. This is just some TECHS, not full-on quickswap. It's a way to speed up your gameplay without any sweaty rotations. They ease into more complicated quickswap scenarios, so think of this as the immediate course. Go ahead and quickswap to that subscribe button and like the video. You got fast hands, so smash those 2 buttons and let's continue. Now, you notice with that rotation, we had a couple of minor issues. Firstly, Roccia wasn't immediately ready, Cantarella also wasn't immediately ready, and while we want to take the time to rotate our characters, as long as that cadenza node is early in the forte bar, swapping off early is beneficial because it speeds up the next rotation. And this will let you get off more enhanced resonant skills with Phrolova. So firstly, after we do that first technique that gains you 4 nodes quickly, you can swap to Cantarella to cast her Liberation and quickly cast her Resonance skill. Then you can swap to Roccia to cast her Liberation and do a few basic attacks. Then, back to Phrolova, who can use her basic attack 3 into a follow-up attack to get the last note, and immediately cast her enhanced heavy attack. From here, you follow the exact same rotation as before, using one character at a time and utilizing their outro. The only thing that really changes is the startup. This simple change to the rotation saves us about 6 seconds, and we only changed one thing in the beginning. I also messed up quite a few times during that rotation with the Flare Quickswap, so it speaks for itself. There are ways to fully implement Quickswap with these characters, but they're generally just not worth it. And the main reason why Quickswap isn't possible with this team is Cantarella. She has a measly 5 seconds in her enhanced state. Roccia, on the other hand, can easily be swapped during her stomps, but it does work better with the aerial character, which Cantarella could have been if she actually had a bigger timer for her forte state. We can, however, do a fun little sequence like this. It's not very practical, and you probably are wasting someone's buff in the process, but hey, for the overworld and other shenanigans, it's pretty fun. There is one other character who can use this pretty well, but we'll talk about that later. So I cooked with some other teams and I'll be displaying them here and briefly talk about them, starting with her other Havoc options. I got a surprising team that worked exceptionally well, rivaling her main damage team, so don't miss that one. Camellia and Phrolova was actually insanely fun. So basically, you start with Shorekeeper, go into Camellia, right? After you spin to win for a bit to fill up her forte, but before it's actually full, swap to Phrolova, who will finish her forte out, go into her Maestro, and from here you'll swap back to Camellia to do her super spinning, Ephemeral Bloom, but at the end of each spin scenario, you will actually cast her Echo skill, which should be the Nightmare Crownless, so Phrolova will do an additional follow-up attack afterwards. Then when you go into Shorekeeper, you'll cast her Echo skill and do more follow-up attacks while you actually get her field ready again. It's a very finicky team, but it actually worked surprisingly well. Definitely not the best team for either Camellia or Phrolova, but hey, it's a fun option that you can actually do. Now let's talk about replacements. And for Roccia, we have many options. Danjin is a solid replacement as she does Roccia's job except less AoE. Also, Sanhua. The 2 best 4-star characters fit perfectly into this role. Keep in mind that in this footage, Danjin has literally no echoes on or a weapon. She's also just level 70, and we still cleared it in time. So with an actual built Danjin, you'd get much closer to our other clear times. Of course, Sanhua is the exact same. She actually gives a basic attack amplification outro buff, just like Roccia, so that's going to be more beneficial to buffing Cantarella. Very great option to use these 2 together. Now another character who works similarly to Roccia is actually Jian. This account doesn't have Jian though, but it works just like Roccia. You'd use Phrolova first, then Jian will get the heavy attack buff, and finally you'll swap to Cantarella and then back to Phrolova to finish it out. Cantarella will be able to use heavy attacks, which will utilize Jian's buff, although it's just minor damage, does help. Be careful not to stay on Jian for too long because Roccia is normally pretty quick to actually do her rotations. That goes for anyone who is taking Jian's spot. Replacements for Cantarella are harder to come by. The reason is because Cantarella has a unique way of buffing Phrolova, and that's her Echo skill cast. A lot of her attacks are considered Echo skills, and each Echo skill that gets cast causes Phrolova's Hecate to actually do an additional follow-up attack. The best option for Cantarella is probably Brant, as he's literally just Cantarella but a man in fusion. They both do basic attacks, they both have resonant skill damage outro buffs, and they both heal. Oh wait, one big major issue. Brant hardly uses his echoes. This is a tremendous downgrade in Phrolova's damage, but Brant does more damage than Cantarella to begin with. And if you have Roccia, Brant will also be buffed in the basic attack damage category, so it's a good overall team. It's just Phrolova's damage lacks a lot more, but Brant brings a little more damage than Cantarella. Lastly, Shorekeeper is the best Cantarella replacement. Don't gotta worry about echo gimmicks, just raw buffs, right? You can't ever go wrong with Shorekeeper. Are you sure? Remember that team that rivals Mono Havoc? It's actually Jinhsi. This team worked exceptionally well once I got the rotation down, and it's pretty damn fun. Cantarella handles all the echo shenanigans, her coordinated attack buffs up Jinhsi, and she also buffs Jinhsi to do some insane damage. The rotation is similar to the others, but it goes in a different order and you do a few different things. At the beginning of the rotation, be sure to activate Cantarella's Liberation, as this helps Jinhsi's laser power up. I tend to rotate through my characters first, and this is an example of where you can actually use Cantarella's aerial combat in unison with Jinhsi. And, of course, you end with Jinhsi's laser. Then you immediately swap to Phrolova, who should be ready if you actually did a bit of quick swapping in the beginning. We'll finish out her forte, use her enhanced heavy, and then her liberation skill, and we'll use her outro to go into Cantarella, and she can use the Havoc portion of that outro. Cantarella will stay on field, do her business, and then, after she's finished, she'll swap over to Jinhsi, who should have a fully charged laser beam so she can let loose Spectro Mayhem. Of course, also casting the Echo skill Jue in the process. You'll then swap back to Phrolova and continue the exact same rotation and keep it going. Fun team concept. They each help each other out, and the damage is pretty damn good, similar to the original Mono Havoc team. A surprising option is Sustainless Spectro Echo Frazzle. You see, Zani loves heavy attacks and can avoid all damage with counters. Phoebe has crowd control to keep the enemies in place and avoid damage. Phrolova has crowd control with her basic attacks and her enhanced heavy. Is that enough crowd control to actually do things? Yeah, it is, because this team actually slaps. Of course, Spectre Rover can be used here as well, and he also has a stasis, and he'll be able to heal and keep the team alive, but you know what's better than staying alive? Killing the boss faster. And, of course, we can't talk about a quick swap guy without including your girl Changli, because she works like a charm. Better alongside Cantarella, but Shorekeeper works as well. Sadly, Changli's Echo skill sucks. You generally don't use it in combat unless you're a little short on energy, so there's not really any great ways to improve Phrolova's damage, but you can still squeeze in a few Echo casts and do a little something. I had decent fun with this team actually. It's always fun to play any team with Changli. Phrolova is a bit restrictive in her team building, but we are free to use her in many unique ways. The main takeaway from this is that we need more Echo skill users to buff her off-field presence. The Chameleon team was pretty fun to mess around with, and I wonder what the future holds for us, but Cantarella is definitely her biggest buff to her presence. While Roccia is easily replaceable, Cantarella is a bit more difficult to get rid of. Among all of her replacements, none are actually capable of using an Echo skill more than maybe 3 times. All of them are normally just 1, with Camellia being the exception. To make matters worse, it's not even Cantarella's Echo that's actually good here. It's Cantarella's kit. I personally think that leading up to this, they should have included echoes that can be used multiple times without actually hindering the character's action. Lorelei is a horrible echo cast. It just stands there and does stuff. The Havoc Bird is a decent echo cast because it's off field for a lot of it, but still it's not that great for this particular team. We want multiple echo casts, not just one and done. Instead of relying on actual echoes, which is Phrolova's whole gimmick, we are relying on Cantarella's kit, which classifies half of her move pool as an echo skill. That's just not the way I imagined Phrolova gameplay would go, but hey, Kuro's making the characters heroes, right? Nonetheless, the Mono Havoc team is crazy strong if you have all the units, and you'll have a damn good time cycling through this crazy trio. Comment down below which Phrolova team you had the most fun with, and let me know what you think about this team building direction. Do you like it? Do you not care? Do you want to see more things just like this? Make sure to subscribe, like the video, thank you so much for watching, and Enigma, out.